Hi, I'm Harry from Brockit Pro. In this video, I'll walk you through step by step for creating a cast-in-place concrete worktop using our Z Counterform system, from setup to ceiling. We'll be sharing tips on how to get a professional finish first time, and everything we're using is available in the UK from Brockit Pro.
So I've got my 12mm Hardybacker cement board here as we're using a standard form, OG form, for this worktop. So I've got to measure and cut each of these boards so it fits flush. Top tip, guys, don't screw cement boards to your worktops. Use silicone on all the edges and then put your cement board down. The weight of the concrete will keep it in place.
Make sure the cement board is in line with the edges of the cabinet frames, pressing down to ensure the board adheres to the silicone beneath. The cement board is now installed and ready for the Z Counterform system. Make sure you silicone between all the joints and the back of the wall.
Right, so we've cut and siliconed in all our cement boards and it's time to fit all our forms. So now I'm just going to run through exactly how we install our OG forms. I'm going to show you how to mitre the corners. I'm going to show you how we duct tape the corners. I'm going to show you how we pre-drill before screwing and make sure we don't over tighten. Here I am measuring the edge of the cement board to the edge of the side panel near the cooker. This will give me the correct measurements for the straight cut on the form. Hi guys, another little tip for you. Pencil doesn't really mark very well on the black plastic, so I like to use a Stanley blade for marking exactly where to cut. It leaves a little scratch mark for you, which you can see really easily. Right, so I'm going to use my chop saw to make these cuts. It's definitely the easiest way. I'm just going to cut it exactly where I've marked. Make sure you take into account the blade thickness. I'm going to just go to the left of this, so I want the right. You need to pre-drill your holes in your form so you don't crack them when you drive the screw in.
The fiberglass mesh is really easy to install. It's already the perfect depth for a kitchen unit, and you can use kitchen scissors to cut it to size.
So this is the Z clips and the alkali resistant mesh. Really important this is used because it reinforces the concrete. We like to space them evenly out so that they create a nice strong structure, so that when you pour your concrete, it actually creates the reinforcement that you need.
So now I need to screw down the clips into the cement board, pull it a little bit tight so you don't get the bulges or dips in the mesh. So it's time to duct tape all the corners, all these external corners, duct tape. Pull them together and make sure there's no leaks. So the internal corners, I like to silicone on the outside and then just wipe my finger to keep it clean. And inside, you can't really duct tape, then it will not hold back the leaks. All the prep work has been complete, all the joints have been siliconed and the clips have been screwed down. It's time to start mixing and pouring the concrete.
Okay, so it's really important that we mist coat the cement board before we pour the concrete. The reason for doing this is if we don't do that, the cement board is going to suck all of the moisture from the concrete and risk cracking. So all we're going to do, nice and generously, spray the cement board with water, and then we can crack on with pouring.
For this worktop, we used our pre-made off-white mix. This can be found on the website along with a more detailed video of how to mix correctly.
Right, another top tip for you guys. This is one we literally just finished mixing, and this is one we finished mixing 8 minutes ago. And you can see the difference in the two. Leave it for 8 to 10 minutes and let those bubbles rise to the top.
When pouring the concrete, it's best to start from the front edge of the worktop first. This will help reduce air bubbles from forming.
Okay, so I've just poured the concrete into this section here, and I'm just going to get my mag float and work it into all the corners and everywhere.
It's time to vibrate the edges and get rid of all the bubbles. We like to use a massage gun, but any vibrating tool will work.
Now we have the worktop filled and fully vibrated. We want to leave it to firm up before using our finishing trowel.
Here you can see me using a chrome finishing trowel. This levels out the concrete as much as possible to limit the amount of time I will need to sand and polish later on.
There are a few different ways you can finish your concrete worktop. Videos and articles explaining each can be found on the website. For this worktop, we decided to lightly polish and then seal.
Right, so I've just finished troweling this now. It's time to leave it for about 24, 48, possibly even longer to let it cure. It really depends how hot it is. Right, so it's now time for the best bit. It's time to snap off the forms. Right, so I've snapped off all the edges. Please do not worry about any little bubbles in the side. You can just fill that in with some leftover concrete. It's now time to polish the concrete. I've got my dry diamond sanding pads, my dust shroud, angle grinder, connected to the hoover, and I'm starting with a 50 grit sandpaper.
The sides don't need much attention, but it's best to use a hand sanding pad to remove the sharp edges. Now that I have worked my way up through the different levels of grit, it's time to clean and seal the worktop.
So it's time to seal the worktop. For this one we're using a aquapoxy sealer. It's a 2-part sealer, one part of this, one part of this, equal parts, measured out into a jug.
And then very easy application with a standard little roller. Let's go. Before you apply the sealer, make sure the worktop is fully dry. To apply the sealer to the worktop, use a foam roller in one direction and then finish in the opposite direction. Let that dry sufficiently, then lightly sand and repeat the process. And that's it, all finished. The kitchen looks fantastic and it just shows what you can do with the right products and a bit of know-how. Thanks for watching. If you need any advice or want to get the same results, give us a call or drop us an email at Brockit Pro.